This is China Observer, I'm Daniel Hall. In China, the kingdom of counterfeits, anything can be faked. Fake food, fake brands, fake academic papers, fake news, and fake data. And now, they're introducing fake natural landscapes. That can be found on Yuntai Mountain in Henan province. It's claimed to have the tallest waterfall in Asia. But recently, tourists discovered that the waterfall is anything but natural. One tourist, enamored by the Yuntai Mountain waterfall, decided to get an intimate look at the source of the flow. This is the source of the Yuntai Mountain waterfall. It's a big pipe. The pipe is disguised as part of the mountain. Water is pumped up and a 300-meter waterfall flows down from here. The place is artificially modified. The tourists' disappointment is clear in the video. After the video was posted, a debate of many voices followed online. It trended on Weibo with over 14 million interactions. Media outlets ran headlines saying, "Man climbs Yuntai Mountain waterfall, finds the source is just pipes." To save face, the Yuntai Mountain Scenic Area responded on June 4th. They said it was just a small improvement for the dry season. Due to insufficient rainfall, pipes were installed to channel water to the waterfall. They did not provide details about when the pipes were built, or how often they were used. Park managers described the waterfall as the tallest single-drop waterfall in China and Asia. That impressive height stands just over 1,000 feet. With such a height, it's no wonder millions of tourists visit the powerful Yuntai Mountain waterfall. Officials had previously said it was the highest uninterrupted waterfall in China, but they declined to mention the hidden pipe network. Naturally, guests felt deceived. One netizen said, "The pipes are poorly disguised. At least other places hide them better." Another said, "Asia's tallest waterfall isn't natural. This move disrespects both nature and visitors. We've been deceived for years. Even this can be fake? Terrifying." Others joked, "If we install a pipe at the top of Burj Khalifa in Dubai, would it become the world's tallest waterfall?" A park official shifted blame by saying that the video was shot in a restricted area, not meant for tourists. As if the man who shot the video climbing into the area from a neighboring province makes any difference. But the blame shifting might be due to internal political tension. That's because Yuntai Mountain sits on an area that spans the border between Henan and Shanxi provinces. The water that goes into Yuntai Mountain in Henan must first flow through Shanxi. Henan officials have accused Shanxi of planning reservoirs upstream to divert water. Thus, there is expectation that the water pipes might be permanent installations on Yuntai Mountain. And because of those reservoirs, we can conclude that the waterfall drying up is also artificial. It's not just the water flow, contrary to official claims of seasonal enhancement. Some netizens speculate the video incident might be part of a rivalry between the two provinces, but those are just hypotheses. Only those who might be directly involved know what's really going on. While on the topic of waterfalls, this isn't the first fake one in China. Last March, a netizen complained of another pipe-sourced waterfall, also in Henan province. This one was on Daxiong Mountain in Zhengzhou City. The staff explained the situation, saying there was too little rain, and basically told the tourists to ignore the water sourcing problem. But tourists couldn't ignore it. Here's a look at those pipes. And this is how park staff responded to the controversy that followed online.
Don't worry how it got there. As long as there's water, it's fine. It looks pretty good and very photogenic. If you see through it, don't say anything, that's all.
China has other fake water attractions masquerading as natural creations. One of the most glaring examples is Crescent Lake in the dry western province of Gansu. The government has invested about $560 million into water systems for it. The lake now survives only by an artificial water supply. In ancient times, it was known as Shajing, which literally means sand well. It's about 3 miles southwest of Dunhuang City and has also been called the first spring in the desert. Since the Han Dynasty, Crescent Lake has been one of the 8 sceneries of Dunhuang. In the Eastern Han period, the lake was much larger. In the 1940s, it was about 30 feet deep, covering about 1 square mile. but within a century it shrank by 2/3. To keep Crescent Lake alive, the park managers pump water from other places and release it here to stop the desert from taking over. But this is costly. They pass the cost onto ticket prices. Because of high ticket prices, few people visit Crescent Lake. If tickets don't sell, the site may soon be abandoned and forgotten. Visitors say Crescent Lake's scenery is not as beautiful as some top-rated Chinese attractions. Its draw comes from it being a lake in the desert, which naturally is rare. But the government has passed the responsibility of preservation on to tourists. Especially now, with the Chinese economy in decline, locals may be all the less willing to visit the far-off, expensive, and even misleading lake. That's because photos used for promotion might be, you guessed it, fake. The real Crescent Lake looks very different from the pictures advertised online. It's hardly the first case of fake advertising in China. Before recent economic difficulties, China's tourism industry had expanded rapidly and attracted tourists from around the world. To cash in on that, local governments had no qualms faking the beauty of their natural attractions. Guests were lured in to find, for example, a trash-filled Chaka Salt Lake in western Qinghai province or the overcrowded island town of Gulangyu in southeastern Xiamen City. In 2020, the Chongqing municipality listed a case of false advertising for the Banana Sky Mirror scenic spot. The Banana Sky Mirror ad had been a hot attraction. When tourists arrived, the place looked nothing like the pictures, causing public outrage. After the incident, the operator, Crazy Paradise Tourism Company, was fined about $7,100. They were also ordered to fix the problems. The decision stated, quote, "The real scene does not match the ad photos. The operator faked it." The world-renowned terracotta warriors in Xi'an also succumbed to fakery, but in a wholly different way. Government officials created an entire fake tourist site with fabricated warriors and all, just to make more money. Without a guide, those unfamiliar with the local situation may fall into such a trap. This is how one man who fell victim to the forgery responded. "People will scam you at the terracotta warriors. They take you to a fake site. My picture shows Dream Back to Qin. It's not the Terracotta Warriors Museum. When you visit the Warriors, someone might take you here. We drove to a parking lot near the Warriors. A man said he could take us to the Warriors and back for $1.50. We were happy and followed him. He said not to go to the Warriors, that it was just a metal shed, and the real fun was at the underground palace, which he called Dream Back to Qin. But then we found out the ticket was $25. We checked online and people said the Warriors only had pits 1, 2, and 3, no underground palace. It's a scam." He added, "There are many scammers at the entrance, leading us to unknown sites to earn commissions. I'm sharing this to stop more people from being cheated." Locals say Dream Back to Qin is an official site, but different from the Terracotta Warriors. It's mostly artificial, while tourists come for the ancient relics. Few want to pay $25 for an artificial site, so they trick visitors. While fake sites are looked down upon, the profits from false ads and artificial attractions line the government's pockets. Officials want money, so these fake sites spread. And they want money because China's economy is in a tough spot, including low consumer spending and high unemployment. Encouraging domestic consumption is an uphill battle. Bloomberg believes that China's economic recovery is slow. Deflation and a long-term real estate crisis are hindering the recovery. People now seek cheaper travel options instead of expensive trips abroad. During the Chinese New Year holiday, domestic tourism numbers surpassed pre-pandemic levels, but average spending per tourist dropped. And in recent years, local governments have taken many hits. Strict zero-COVID policies led to high debts. The ongoing real estate crisis hit government revenues hard. Land sales used to be a major income source, making up over 30% of local government income, and around 40% from 2019 to 2021. But in the past 2 years, developers defaulted due to debt crises. The poor real estate market made it hard for local governments to earn income from this sector. So, with all that financial turmoil in mind, tourism growth has become the government's hope to fill financial gaps since last year. One government tactic is to use hype and various media coverage to draw tourists. Some examples include Zibo barbecue and Tianshui spicy hot pot. Online videos ignited the Tianshui hot pot craze in early February. Videos titled Gansu Spicy Hot Pot on Tianshui Street and Recommend Gansu Spicy Hot Pot Nationwide gained millions of views and shares. State media also promoted it. Government mouthpiece CCTV shared articles about Tianshui Hot Pot, and Xinhua News Agency encouraged tourists to visit Tianshui. That all came along as Tianshui City is short on funds. In 2023, Tianshui's local government earned about $640 million, mainly from tax revenue. This income is far below its about $460 million expenditure. This led to Tianshui Party Secretary Feng Wengge urging local officials to boost Tianshui's development with a bowl of spicy hot pot. And what was the result of Feng's order? According to Tongcheng Travel, searches for Tianshui as a destination surged by 616% within a week of the videos. Hotel bookings on their site increased by 76%, the highest in 3 years. In China, each city has its own speciality. Since COVID restrictions lifted, some local governments in China try to profit from people's interest in fast, cheap travel. The Tianshui spicy hot pot we just talked about is an example of this. Others include Zibo barbecue and Harbin ice sculptures. But this hype-based business model is only a short-term solution. Zibo barbecue, once very popular, now faces an almost total loss in interest. Earlier this year, there were few tourists and many barbecue shops had no customers. Those who opened new barbecue shops during the boom faced high rents. When the trend faded, they couldn't afford the rent and closed down, losing a lot of money. With no tourists, taxi drivers also saw their income drop overnight. A taxi driver in Zibo named Mr. Ma noticed a sharp decline in income after last year's National Day on October 1st. He realized the city's popularity had come to an end. Ma calculated his earnings. Starting from Labor Day last year, he worked from about 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. No matter the time or road, there were always passengers. He made around $150 a day. He said if you work hard, you can make about $275 a night. By June, local tourist numbers dropped briefly, but in July and August, summer vacation brought tourists back. However, after National Day, the tourist numbers fell sharply. Mr. Ma's income dropped almost tenfold. A man surnamed Zhao, who sells Bodhi tree seeds in one of Zibo's markets, already plans to close up shop and leave Zibo for opportunities in the south. When Zibo was booming, Zhao and his friends rented 3 shops in the market. After National Day, business worsened. Some days they made no sales, and weekends only brought in about $14. After the hype on Zibo barbecue lost its heat, the government tried to replicate the trend with tourism in the Northeast. But soon after, scandals in Harbin's ice sculpture tourism industry surfaced, leading to another cold end. The government used the same approach in many places, but all faced the same fate. The tourism boom did not solve financial problems and just emptied people's wallets, making it harder to stimulate consumption. A netizen, Lian Chaohan, commented on the government's use of tourism to save the economy, saying, "From my experience inside the system, everything the CCP does has political motives. Their so-called good deeds are just small favors to buy people's loyalty and maintain their one-party rule. So we must always oppose them."